Hi, good afternoon. Happy to be with you as always today for our chair yoga practice. I'm practicing a slightly different, more comfy chair today. And so let that be a reminder that it doesn't need to look like anything special, anything particular for your practice to be valid. Let's meet each other and meet ourselves in a seat. So take your time to remove distractions. Turn off your phone notifications and turn off the computer notifications, whatever device you're using here. Go ahead and shut the door and gift yourself this next 30 minutes or so in deep attention, in awareness. Our practice today is, as most of our practices, going to focus on attention, on paying attention to these subtle little things. Yesterday, I was on a very important conference call sitting, right up there. And I have a window right here that I'm facing now, and it's right next to my desk. And this bird was just so loud. It was sitting, it's a cardinal, and it was sitting in the tree, which is 10 inches from this window. And at first I was like, oh God, like I have this important call, and this bird is being really disruptive. But the bird was simply doing bird things, which is to chirp very loudly to get other ladybirds' attention. And it was also a great reminder of some of these little moments of wow, these little moments of beauty that we do get to encounter even in the middle of a stressful day, even in the middle of a long, boring drive. There are always these little opportunities. And we just have to be willing to pay attention. And we have to be willing to not let ourselves get too annoyed or too caught up in whatever is swirling on around us. And instead pause. And so I did shut the window, so at least it wasn't totally disrupted from my call. I could still hear the bird. And when my call finished, I stepped over to the window and I watched it sitting in the branch and just singing its heart out. Just so fully engrossed in its activity, in his activity, I should say, of singing. This little red bird. So we can let that cardinal be a little reminder, or anything else you've encountered recently, to just take a moment to notice, take a moment to allow yourselves to feel a little awe in every day. In our yoga practice, we use this shape with our hands, a prayer shape, and Anjali Mudra is the name of that shape, and it is a seal of reverence and awe. Awe is a word we don't really allow ourselves to consider in day to day. We often maybe save our awe for a big hike or travel, but there's awe in every day. So a little cardinal outside. There's a plant in my office that's growing really well. Things like that. So we'll just let those be a little reminder as we practice. Just feel your feet on the floor. Elevate the floor, bring it closer to you if needed, so that the soles of your feet can be flat. Close or soften your eyes. And I'd like for you just here in this moment to consider the last few hours of your day, as long as you've been awake today. And is there something really wonderful in that time, simple, that you've noticed? Have you seen a really lovely plant? Has your child said something funny? Has your cat just been really soft and you got to enjoy that sensation today? Can you visualize some little moment of wow from today? And in visualizing that, can you feel how it felt in that moment? And It's okay if in that moment you felt rushed, stressed, distracted. It's okay. We're not really here to be hard on ourselves, but you noticed it. And so maybe in amongst the stress or worry was a little, oh, that's nice. And so, can we cultivate a little more of the pause and a little more of the reverent observation? As you sit here, can the sensation of your footprints on the floor be another moment of wow, another moment of appreciation for your body, for this room that you're sitting in, for this opportunity to practice? Let's take a breath in through your nose. Hold the breath at the top. And then through pursed lips, exhale as long as you can. We're going to do that a few more times. So take a breath in, pause for a count or two, and then the longest exhale you can through pursed lips. Luxuriating in the exhale. 3 more times on your own. Breathing in through the nose, slow, extended exhale through pursed lips. Take your time. And when you complete your third round of this breath, allow your breath to find a natural pace and rhythm. Easy flow, natural, don't overthink it. Observe the natural texture and cadence of your breath and see if perhaps you can invite in a little bit more depth. Can you feel the breath traveling down the throat, filling the chest, the belly, and all the way down to the pelvis? And it empties out completely, moving from the bottom up. The next time you breathe in addition to feeling the breath traveling down, all the way down, can you feel it expand east and west? So through the rib cages, expanding sort of like an accordion out beneath your armpits, and then contracting again as you exhale. Take another deep breath in, breathe down into the belly of the pelvis, expand the rib cage out, and then let the chest expand forward while the back body reaches behind you. Again, deep breath. Fill up the bowl of your pelvis, the rib cage in 360 degrees, and then feel that little lift of the collarbones and the crown of the head up. Exhale completely. Once more. Exhale completely. Good, wonderful work. Let's take the arms forward. Let the palms face one another and just find a level with the arms. They don't necessarily need to be parallel with the floor. Keeping your spine long, can you reach your fingers a little bit farther forward? So I want you to still feel your spine straight, more or less, but just let the shoulders move so fingertips reach forward. Keep the fingertips in the same plane. Shrug the shoulders up into the ears. Now keep the shoulders shrugged up and just reach the shoulder blades behind you. So keeping the shoulders up towards the ears and then back. Then keeping the fingertips in the same plane, drop the shoulder blades down towards your hips. All right, reach forward, fingertips forward, spine stays still. And then shoulders to your ears. Shoulder blades back, and shoulder blades dropped. So we're making sort of a box shape, moving through the full range of motion of our shoulders. When you do this a few more times, and I know it feels a little robotic, but It's going to allow us to isolate all of these types of movement. Do this one more time, just like this. And then we're going to meet, arms reaching forward. And then we're going to try to go in the opposite direction. So let's think. Let's squeeze our shoulder blades together. Let's start there. And then shoulders up to ears. Fingertips reach forward, shoulder blades move away, and then down. Shoulder blades back, shoulders up, fingertips forward, and then down. Good. Do that twice more. One more time. Good. Release your hands down. You can shake out the wrists and the shoulders if you'd like. Good. Let's bring the palms to press in front of your chest. Press the pads of your fingers together and still feel the soles of your feet on the floor. And then let's lift the forearms. So rather than letting them rest on the chest, bring them a little bit forward. And then let's see if we can bring the forearms parallel with the floor. It might not happen, but we're going to try that. So keep the heels of the hands touching and see if we can bring the forearms parallel to the floor. So you might feel actually a little tension across the chest. That's okay. And a little tension in the forearms or wrists. Also okay. We can stay just like this, breathing steady, or maybe start to reach the heels of the hands down, starting by keeping the heels of the hands touching. So now the forearms, for me at least, are not quite parallel to the floor, but I can feel my shoulders tensing, so I'm going to relax that bit. Focus on the sensation of your palms pressing one another, this reverent seal. Now, I want you to keep pushing the heels of the hands down until they start to peel away from each other, but the pads of the fingers are still touching. So again, we're building that stretch in the wrists and the forearms. Good. All right, keep breathing steady. Push the heels of the hands down so just the pads of the fingers are touching. And we might be in front of the navel. You might be higher up. Breathe wide. Good. All right. You give your hands a little shake. Let's make fists with the hands and then turn so the backs of your palms are touching. So the fists aren't going to stay quite wrapped in. And then we're going to take this movement the opposite direction. So for me, my forearms are starting parallel to the ground. Yours might not be. We might be down here. I want you to see if you can get as much of the back of your hands to touch as possible. It's not actually that much for me, but as much as you can touching. And then in a stepwise way, like before, we're going to start to reach the wrists up. And then I feel a fairly significant sensation across the backs of my hands and the tops of my forearms. So we're looking for a sensation to tune into, not a distracting amount of sensation, but just something there. Maybe they reach up a little more, still keeping the backs of your hands touching as much as possible. Okay, and then we can start to peel them apart until maybe just the knuckles are touching. And then lift it up a little higher. And then we can just unfurl completely. Good. All right, let's take your thumb in to your hand and then wrap your forefingers around your thumb. Take your arms along your sides and then begin to roll your wrists. Simple movement. Keep the wrists rolling as you start to elevate the arms. Lift them up overhead. And then can you switch the direction your hands are going and then circle them down along your sides. Okay, switch directions again with circles. Take the arms up. Switch. Take them down. These little challenges, switching, twisting lefts and rights are very good for our neuroplasticity. Take the circles in the other direction. Take it out. And are just a wonderful invitation to allow ourselves to exist without distraction. All right, one more time. Let me tell you, it's hard to talk through it and do it at the same time. All right. Let's take our hands up, face forward. Palms are wide. Let's spread the fingers wide, really wide, and then make fists. And we're going to do that a handful more times. So just let the arms rest where they are on their side. Extend, open, squeeze in. Extend and squeeze. And you're going to pick a pace that works for you, that allows you to really stretch the fingers and then really squeeze in. All right, keep doing this a few more times. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, take your hands face down on your lap. And I want you to tent your right hand. We're doing a lot of hand exercises today. I guess that's what my body was asking for. So what we're going to do is pretend like we're picking something up from the top of your thigh. So you're tenting the palm to start. Pads of the fingers touch your thigh. Keep the pads of the fingers there, and then just slide them towards one another and pinch. So my fingers end up with all the fingertips touching. Then we're going to do that a few more times. So extend the arms out, tent the palm, bring the pads of the hands to touch, pads of the fingers. Let's do that 3 more times. Do you feel the muscles in your palm working? So you press the pads of the hands into your thigh, and that little bit of friction provides some load for the muscles in our hands. Good. Release. Take it to the other side. So tent your left palm, pads of the fingers press down, and then squeeze in like you're pinching and picking something up. We're going to do 7 reps of this total. So this is rep number 2. And 3, 4 more on your own. You can increase the intensity of this work on your palm by pressing down through your fingertips a little more. You can reduce the intensity by keeping the pressure of the finger pads a little lighter. I think 1 or 2 more. Maybe you've been counting. Good. All right, release down. Excellent work. Good little hand work. All right, arms up again, face forward. No, let's actually do arms down, palms face up. And then I want you to touch your thumb to your pinky, ring finger, middle finger, pointer. We're going to do that a few more times. And I want you to bring 100% of your attention, or be willing to bring 100% of your attention on the sensation of the pads of your fingers touching your thumb. Let's do 3 cycles, 3 more, all the way through, tapping the thumb to each finger. One more time. Good. All right, release it down. If you need to roll through your wrists a bit, that's fine. A lot of good work in the hands. Let's move a little bit more through the spine. Let's slide the hands forward onto the knees, shift the body weight forward. We'll move through cat and cow, familiar shape. I want you to use the grip of your hands on your knees to squeeze the chest forward, shoulder blades back, tailbone back. And then around everything in, tailbone down, chin down. All right, several more times like that. Can you feel the articulation all the way from your tailbone up to the crown of your head? Let's do 4 more. One more round. Good, come to sit upright. All right, let's take our hands and lift up the right leg. And then you're going to figure out what grip works for you. So you can either just clasp the hands behind. If you can reach, it might feel a bit easier to interlace the hands behind your knees so that there's not too much work happening in the hand. And then we're going to move through that right foot. So I'd like for you to flex the toes up towards the shin. Feel the muscle at the front of your shin light up. And then take the opposite movement, point the toes down and squeeze the toes into the foot. Feel the calf muscle working. All right, we're going to do that a few more times. Point or flex and then point. Good, one more time. Good, all right, let's take some circles in one direction. Try to take these a little slower so you can feel the sensation. Take the circles in the other direction. Notice the way that your toes might want to move. You can allow them to do that. Good. And then you can just kind of shake the foot out, shake the leg out. Let's find figure 4, cross the right ankle above the left knee. Stay upright or begin to fold a little forward. And breathe into the sensation in your hip. You can rock a little side to side. Experience what that would feel like in your hip, in your inner thigh. One more full cycle of breath here. All right, let's release the right foot down, lift your left leg up, and then either just grip it with your hands or take an interlace or grip the wrist with one hand, just so we can have the chest lifted and the foot lifted. We're gonna do flex and point with the toes again, so flex the toes back, feel the muscles on the front of the shin working, and then point the toes down, squeeze the toes towards the arch of your foot, feel the calf muscle light up. Let's do that a handful more times. Good, and then we'll begin to circle in one direction. Doesn't matter which one you started with. And this ankle feels so different from my other ankle, which is an interesting thing to notice. Let's take circles in the other direction. You also might find it's easier to rotate your foot in one direction than the other, and that's okay. All right, figure 4, cross the ankle. Take your variation, staying upright, rocking and circling around, or folding forward. My body's asking for a little bit more movement and rocking today, so I'm going to honor that. All right, release that foot down. Good. All right, we're going to do some sun salutations, and then we'll do our final meditation. So we've powered through with a lot of small movements, and we'll take a little moment to do some big shapes before bringing it down. So we're going to do just a simple seated version of sun salutation A. I invite you to sit a little forward into your chair rather than letting the back rest. If you can still sit tall and feel strong in that way. Let's lift the arms up as you breathe in. Then as you exhale, bring your hands to your thighs and fold all the way forward. When you inhale, press your hands into your thighs, lift halfway. Exhale and fold. Launch off with the hands, breathe in, lift up. Fold forward, hands come down. Halfway lift and fold. All the way rise, inhale. Fold, exhale. Halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Uttanasana, fold. Urdhva Hastasana, rise upward. Uttanasana, fold. I want you to do 4 more times all the way through on your own. Once more. And then let's meet in a seat. So finish your last round and then find your way to a comfortable seat. Close or soften the eyes and deepen the breath. Feel both feet on the ground. Good. And then see if you can deepen the breath as we did at the beginning of our practice. feeling it drive all the way down into the bowl of the pelvis, the pelvic floor, feeling your rib cage expand spherically, and finding a lift of the collarbones. And of course, when you exhale, it's in the opposite direction. And I want you to truly allow your body to empty of breath. Take a long exhale. Your body is safe. You're exactly where you need to be right now. Right here. It's nothing for you to fix, nothing for you to change. I'm going to share a poem. It's one of my favorites with you. So you can let it land or not, but I'll share it anyway. It's called Mindful. I've probably shared it in Cherry Yoga class before. Every day, I see or I hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in a haystack of light. It is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the oceans shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. Three more breaths, exactly as you are. Draw your attention back to this room. What can you feel, hear, see, touch? What little moments are drawing you here to this moment? What little sensations, bits of information? Let's press our palms together in front of the heart and feel the warmth and texture of your hands as they meet one another in front of your chest. You can find a lift of your sternum into your thumb knuckles. This seal of reverence and awe. We often call it a seal of gratitude, but that is a gratitude built from a sensation of awe and reverence. So maybe be willing to not be annoyed by moments of wow in every day. Maybe be willing to press pause and observe and acknowledge. May we not wait for the perfect moment to appreciate. I'm grateful for these little moments of wow that I get to share with you every week in this incredible methodology transmission. It's a really beautiful opportunity. So with that, I say namaste, and I truly mean I bow and thank you. All right, grateful as always to be with you each Friday. I will see you in subsequent weeks. Thank you.